Hey guys, I just thought I would share something today. I do not like notifications being read on my phone. Like, they need to be all cleared off, and I get them on Pinterest. And so I normally just go in there and like clear them off. I don't normally look at the ones that are on Pinterest, but today's on Pinterest was a Bible verse, and it was Job 33:4, and it said on the Pinterest thing, it said, "It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only." And then I went and actually looked at the Bible verse, and in my Bible it says, "The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life." And now I found this interesting, and that I needed to go actually read the whole chapter, because if you don't know, Job is kind of a sad book, and I tend to shy away from sad things because they're hard to read. When people's lives are bad or they're suffering, I don't really like to read that. I don't know if anyone particularly loves to read that, but anyways, if you don't know Job, Job is a man after God, and the devil is pretty much telling God, well, you know, you've given Job this perfect life, and but if you take this away from him, or you take that away from him, or you do this to him, then he's not gonna serve you anymore, pretty much. And so his life, was once gravy, well, on a certain perspective, is now like dirt, is not good at all, and he's suffering in his life. So when I saw this verse, I was like, I've never read that before in that. And that's because I stopped reading Job in chapter 29. So now I know that I need to finish Job with taking notes. But anyways, 3 things that God showed me in chapter 33, and I thought that I would share with you. So the first being the actual verse, which is, "The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life," which is verse 4 in chapter 33. And so every breath proclaims his name. We were, created by God, and he lives in us if you're a believer. And so the Spirit of God has made me, and Jesus gives you breath of life. He saves your life. He is your life. And then the other verse was verse number 14, and it says, "For God speaks time and again, but a person may not notice it." And the note was that God might be communicating in ways that we don't understand, or in this case, ways that Job didn't understand. So Job was in like anguish. I think he had like boils or some kind of like skin lesions or something all over his body, if I remember correctly. And so his only relief was when he went to sleep. But then he started to have nightmares, and so he wasn't getting relief when he was asleep. And so in this chapter, in verse number 33, or in chapter 33, verse 15, it says, "In a dream, a vision in the night, when deep sleep comes over people." So God might have been trying to communicate with Job through his nightmares when he was asleep. But God is with us 24 hours a day. He's omnipresent. So there's probably a lot of ways that God is communicating with us throughout the day, and we're oblivious to it. And we're just doing our daily routine, and we're, going about our business. And so I felt like this verse was like telling me that I need to be more aware of God's presence throughout the day. And then the last verse that God pointed out to me was verse 29, and it says, "God certainly does all these things 2 or 3 times to a person in order to turn him back from the pit, so he may shine with the light of life." So at times, God, in his great communicating elusively with humanity, he sometimes uses suffering, but he does it to save people from death. So like, God, in the Bible, it does not say you're going to live a perfect life if you love Jesus, and you're not going to have any suffering, and your life's going to be perfect. It does not say that. And so sometimes when we're in something in our life, in a storm, in something, instead of being like, God, I can't do this, take it from me. Maybe we should be like, God, what are you trying to show me? What do I need to learn? What am I not seeing? Are you trying to show me something? And so that was another verse that God pointed out to me. So if any of that sounded good to you, I'm glad. I just thought I should jump on here and share. Say, hey, Palmer. Hey. Yeah, she's my little buddy today. But love you guys and have a happy Monday.